You were one of the first people into Afghanistan after 9/11. You went over with your team after the president gave the order. Walk me through what it was like when you first stepped onto Afghan soil and to what happens to you and some members of your team on December 5th, 2001.
So this is quite interesting, actually, as far as I'm concerned, because we didn't know what to expect. We did all our planning in Uzbekistan, and we flew to Jacobabad, Pakistan, via MC-130s, landed, transloaded, spent a couple days there because the weather was bad, so we had a little bit more planning time, but this was a very compressed timeline. And we really had no information on who we were supposed to meet on the ground. We were only going to a location in Tarankout, Afghanistan, which is in the Orzgun province, in southern Afghanistan. And we didn't know who we were going to link up with, we didn't know what we were going to find. It was going to be dark, and we got on the back of, MH-53s and flew in there. On our way in, one of them got shot. We thought we were going to have to turn around, but the pilots made an assessment. We continued in. We had a pretty significant hard landing. It was extremely dark. There was no moon out, and night vision goggles. So we get on the ground, we go out. We were a small team. My battalion commander was with us. He looks at me and he goes, "Now what are we going to do, Don?" And I said, "Well, sir, we're going to sit here and we're going to wait until we see people moving towards us." And he goes, "All right, that sounds like a good plan." So we stayed there and we started seeing silhouettes of folks, and we didn't have any idea what these silhouettes were. Now they realized that aircraft had landed. They came towards that aircraft. The aircraft had since left. The dust had settled. We started seeing the silhouettes of folks that coming towards us, and we made introductions. We had one guy on the team that spoke Pashto, thank goodness. He made the introductions, and he said, "Okay, everything's good." We moved out, and they brought us to Hamid Karzai. And from there, we began to plan the southern campaign from Tarankout down to Kandahar, which was the operational objective.
But you're riding on horseback. How do you get to Kandahar? It's incredible. You ride on horseback. You do it all different types of transport. Tell the
Right.
story.
So we got horses, we got mules. Initially we're on foot, and it wasn't until Hamid Karzai had put the call out to the village elders. "Hey, we're here to help. We need you to come in. We want to talk to you." And that's when pickup trucks started showing up, right? A lot of these folks were on the other side 2 days ago, and now they've switched sides, which was something that we had to get used to, right? Very cultural thing, but something that was very interesting. And so they would come, "Yep, we're on your side now. You guys are the strongest, and we're going to stay with you." And we're like, "Okay, great." And as we started building our team from nothing to 50 to 75 to 100, as we continued to move south, and Karzai was conducting all his village elder and tribal elder meetings, and more people were coming. And you could tell these guys were very experienced with trying to avoid our ISR. What they would do is they would mud pack their vehicles, the outside of the vehicles with mud, because that brought down the heat signature. And so you see all these vehicles covered with mud coming into your location, and you knew they were against you the day before, but now they're with you somehow, right? And certainly not the American way of war, but we began to embrace it. I don't think it's anything that my battalion commander got comfortable with. And as we got closer to, we were in Shawali Khat, about 12 miles from Kandahar, getting ready to do our last push.
Which is the center for the Taliban.
Right.
It's the heart, right.
The heart and soul, because Kandahar is a religious center of gravity, and that's where they set themselves
And
up.
now, how far from where you landed to Kandahar, how many miles?
Well, I think it's probably about maybe 150 kilometers or so, but it's through terrain that there's no road, right? and very tough terrain.
So you land on basically, you come in through night, one of the first people on Afghan soil. This is October 7th.